All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If everybody find a seat, we're going to start today's town board meeting. I'd like to welcome everybody to Hempstead Town's March 14th Hempstead Town Board meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Supervisor Clavin.
I am here.
Councilman Carini.
I'm here.
Councilman Dunn.
Here.
Councilwoman Miller.
Here.
Councilman Muscarella.
Here. I'm now going to ask Councilwoman Miller to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Place your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Clerk, would you please call the first public hearing?
Yes, Supervisor. We have a petition of the Commissioner of Buildings to demolish and remove a two-story wood frame, one-family dwelling with detached garage and debris from premises located on the south side of 2nd Avenue, 40 feet west of 2nd Street, located in Franklin Square.
All right. No, I'm going to call you in a minute. I know I have Deputy Commissioner, do you want to, there you go, if you could. I know I have Eric Valley. But if you identify yourself and tell the board what it's in relation to before Mr. Valley speaks, that'd be great.
Supervisor, members of the board.
Hit that mic up there. Thanks, Joe.
Dan Leo, Deputy Commissioner, Building Department.
Good morning.
Morning, if you name and address for the record. Thank you.
Eric Valley, 6851 Jericho Turnpike, Syosset, New York.
All right, Mr. Valley.
We represent the mortgagee. We understand that the property is slated for demolition. Just my client is actively pursuing a foreclosure against this property and would like the opportunity to potentially complete the demolition themselves. We understand that the process is going to continue and have no objection to that, but would like, to speak with Mr. John Pinsky about potentially taking over the project and doing it ourselves.
We'd like to recommend going forward with the Chapter 90 process and work with the attorney to give him an extension of time to demo the property. And we also had a conversation. If his contractor doesn't come through, we'll go forward with the demolition.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you, Mr. Valley. I do not have any slips of this. Any member of the board wish to be heard on item number one? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Thanks, Mr. Valley. Just ask you to make sure you have contact information to the Deputy Commissioner of Building Department to coordinate, if you guys can work it out. All right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have the petition of the Commissioner of Buildings to demolish and remove a one-story wood frame, one-family dwelling with attached garage and debris from premises located on the west side of Cornelius Avenue, 96 feet south of Valentine Place, located in Wantagh.
Okay. Any member of the board wish to be heard on this? I do not have any slips on item number two. And anybody like to be heard on item number two that did not sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
That's an affirmative.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Yes. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a petition of the Commissioner of Buildings to demolish and remove a two-story wood frame, one-family dwelling with two-car attached garage and debris from the premises located on the southeast corner of Bayport Court and Bayview Avenue, located in Wantagh.
Okay. Any member of the board wish to be heard? If not, I do not have any slips on item number three. Is anybody that wishes to be heard on item number three that did not sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Thank you, Deputy Commissioner. You've been a busy little bee. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding arterial stops in Oceanside.
Okay. Any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips on item number four. Anybody wish to be heard on item number four that did not sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed handicap parking on public streets in Elmont, Franklin Square, near Limbrook, and Roosevelt.
Any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips on this item. Anybody wishes to be heard on this item did not sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and adopt the matter.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn. Aye. Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding abandoned vehicles in relation to replacing Superintendent of Highways with Commissioner of Highways.
All right. Any member of the board wish to be heard on this? I do not have any slips on this item. Anybody wishes to be heard did not sign in? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding abandoned vehicles in relation to increasing the value of an abandoned vehicle in order for title to immediately vest in the town of Hempstead.
Okay, any member of the board wish to be heard? I do not have any slips. Anybody wishes to be heard on item number 7 that did not sign in? If not, may I please have a motion? Pretty please?
I move that the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a hearing determining parcels benefited by construction of reconstruction of sidewalks.
All right. Any member of the board wish to be heard on this? Okay, I don't have any slips. Anybody not sign in that wishes to be heard on item number 8? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public.
Close and the board adopt the item.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
That is an aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
And Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding amending Section 19-3 of Chapter 19, Section 52-1 of Chapter 52, and a whole host of other amendments. In the code.
All right. Any member of the board wish to be heard on this? All right. I do not have any slips. Any member of the public did not sign in and wishes to be heard on item number 19? If not, may I please have a motion?
Oh, 9.
Number 9, I'm sorry. Item number 9. If not, may I have a motion on number 9?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have the application of Leon Petroleum LLC for a variance from provisions of the GSS ordinance in Merrick.
Good morning. If you identify yourself for the record, that'd be awesome.
Good morning, Supervisor, members of the board. Michael Son, Ward, Braff, Koblenz, 333 Earl Ovington Boulevard, Uniondale, New York, representing the petitioner in this application. Thank you for the opportunity to present the case to the town board today. I have with me Mr. Alan Leon, who is the managing member and principal of Leon Petroleum, Chris Tartaglia from High Point Engineering, and Mr. Barry Nelson of Nelson Realty Group. If you'll allow me, I'll make a few brief remarks, and then briefly our consultants who are present will also make some remarks to the board.
You got it, Mr. Son. Thank you.
The petition, as noted, concerns the premises situated at the northwest corner of Merrick Road and Central Boulevard in Merrick. This is Section 55, Block 181, lots 18 through 29, 25 through 28, and 36 through 37. The petition before the board is for a variance of the GSS zoning district to allow the conversion of the existing building from a auto repair facility to a convenience store. The premises are rectangular in shape with a frontage of 220 feet on Merrick Road and 100 feet on Central Boulevard. The premises are in the Business X district with a GSS overlay. The GSS overlay was granted in 1994 by the town board under Resolution 306-1994. Subsequently, in 1999, the town board granted a variance of the GSS zoning to allow for the construction of a canopy over the existing pump islands, and that canopy is in place today. As shown on the plan submitted, the premises are improved with the BP gasoline service station, 4 pump islands with multi-dispensers, 3 underground tanks. All are in compliance with the requirements of the Nassau County Fire Marshal and the town of Hempstead. There is a 1-story building that is presently used as an automobile repair shop. It has 2,160 square feet. Again, the proposal is to convert that use to a convenience store for a BP to go. I will note that the premises are now open 7 days a week, 24 hours, and the premises have full service for the gasoline service station, and this proposal contemplates a continuation of the same hours and a continuation of the full service at all times for the gasoline pumps. The petition also contemplates, as shown on the plans, a number of improvements such as new LED lighting fixtures, landscaping improvements at the perimeter of the premises, including at the entire length of the rear lot line, a new monument sign at the corner of a very tasteful design, and there will be a new trash enclosure at the rear at the westerly side for the proposed convenience store. The premises actually exceed the required parking. There are 11 parking spaces required, as noted on the plan. 18 spaces will be provided, including 1 ADA-compliant stall. The applicant also contemplates installing a new flagpole for the United States flag. I will also note for the record that Nassau County Planning Commission has indicated local determination, and the application has received a waiver of 239F submissions from the Nassau County Department of Public Works. Lastly, I must acknowledge that the building department has issued a report to the board dated March 1 of this year. The building department noted several open permits. Mr. Leon will address those with his professional staff and his building contractors. Likewise, the report noted that there is now the illegal use at the premises of automobiles for storage and sale. I believe that there are presently approximately 5 vehicles. The entire thrust and purpose of this application is to remove that use from the site. There is a subtenant that was in place prior to the current operator taking over. The contemplation is that that subtenant will be removed from the premises by the early fall, and hopefully at that point, if the board deems it appropriate and grants the application, the property can be converted to the convenience store and that tenancy removed.
I got to grab you on this one. Just so you got a subtenant there who's selling cars and he's not supposed to be selling cars?
Correct.
Yes. Maybe you can get rid of that a little quicker. You know what I'm saying?
Mr. Leon is here and is going to do his best.
Yeah, I'm not going to wait till November. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Okay. Thanks.
I understand. And, again, we wanted to bring that up as part of our presentation. With that said, I'd like to ask Mr. Tartaglia to come forward and briefly review those improvements that I mentioned.
If you just give your name and address for the record, thanks.
Good morning, Mr. Supervisor, members of the board. For the record, Chris Tartaglia from High Point Engineering, 1860 Walt Whitman Road, Melville, New York. My colleague, Mr. Son, has done a great job of describing the proposed improvements. Just a couple of things I'd like to highlight. Specifically behind the building, to the north side of the building, currently there's about a 3-foot wide curved area, and it's primarily behind the building, and it's primarily asphalt. What we're doing is removing that curb, and an entire green strip that you see on that site rendering there will be densely landscaped with evergreens. We're also going to be supplementing the landscaping along all of the either side of the property and along the property frontage where the new sign is going at the corner. With that, there's not really a lot of other site work here. We're going to be repairing some of the pavement, repairing the sidewalks, and just basically giving the site a general aesthetic upgrade. And as Mr. San mentioned, the existing building will have the repair bays removed, and the entire building will be converted to a convenience store. We are compliant as to parking, so no variance is needed for that. And that's really the substance of it. I'm certainly here to answer any questions on the site plan or any of the proposed improvements.
Just really, really quick, you are abutting a couple of residential houses. Just so I know, on the back, I guess that would be the north side of it. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 houses back there. What are you going to fencing? What else are you going to have? Any kind of buffer? Any kind of green?
Yes, so we've got a 6-foot-high solid fence going across the entire length, and we will have very dense evergreen plantings in that new landscape area that I discussed. It's about 2,000 square feet of more landscaping going in as compared to what's there today.
Okay. Okay. Did you talk to the neighbors?
Supervisor, yes. Prior to the hearing, I communicated in writing to all the neighbors, invited them to call me, had no responses.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. I'll ask Mr. Nelson if the board will allow me to give a very brief overview.
I'm sorry, is it Mr. Nelson or is it Mr. Brief?
Good morning.
All right, it's always good to see you. If you give me name and address of the record.
Good morning. It's Barry Nelson, 220 Pettit Avenue, Belmore, New York, 11710. I do have some photographs I'd like to submit. They include the subject property and the surrounding uses. Council's gone over the case substantially as far as the subject property. The property does abut residences, fine single-family homes that are on the, to the north on the south side of Westmoreland Street. The application today focuses on the change of use for the building from automotive repairs to a convenience store in conjunction with the gasoline. This location is on the north side of Merrick Road. It's the westbound traffic. There is a substantial divider in the center for the eastbound. Opposite the subject property on the eastbound would be the Town of Hempstead Sanitation Department. There's a similar use, and it was before this board recently, at the northeast corner opposite the subject property on Merrick Road and Central. The similar application, GSS, change of use from automotive to a convenience store with gas. This use has been found and has changed from automotive to C-stores throughout the town of Hempstead and throughout Nassau County and Suffolk County in many locations. Merrick Road is a main arterial road. Just to the west would be a fencing company, and then you have the entrance to the Meadowbrook State Parkway. As far as Merrick Road, basically from Babylon Turnpike, which is within a mile east to the subject property and the Meadowbrook Parkway, will have similar uses. You have fast food type of operations, a Wendy's on the south side, McDonald's on the north side, Taco Bell. These uses all have drive-throughs. They abut residences. There's a mobile gas station to the east at the southeast corner of Merrick Road and Beach Drive. You have a 7-Eleven at the northwest corner of Babylon Turnpike and Merrick Road. And they've all become part of the community, part of the landscape as far as Merrick Road, adjacent to residentials. It's my opinion the granting of this application for a change of use, which will include a substantial increase of mitigation to the residential community as far as landscaping and fencing on the north side, removing a town board approved automotive use that has been there since the 1970s. In fact, I think this location was originally a Citgo gas station back in the 70s. Nevertheless, it's my opinion, it's a reasonable request. It's been granted throughout many locations in the town of Hempstead, town of North Hempstead, and throughout Nassau County. Again, it protects the residential to the north because of the landscaping and fencing.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Nelson.
Thank you.
Mrs. Zahn, anything else you want to add up there before we take questions?
Nothing further. We take your questions, of course.
I got a quick question. I know we addressed the concerns about the cars there with the current tenant. Does the current tenant have a dog there?
I have a
Dog, like a security dog or a dog on the premises? Just a quick note.
Mr. Leon says not to his knowledge.
Great. Okay. No, that's fine. Let me see if any of the board members have any questions.
I got a quick question. How many of these current spaces is the used cars occupying right now? Looks like in photo number 5, it's 2 rows deep. Is that accurate?
Mr. Tartaglia was there recently, so speak to that.
Yes, thank you. The number of cars seems to vary based on any given week, but I think they are occupying primarily the left side of the property. Sometimes it's a single row, sometimes it's a few, sometimes it's double row.
And you don't expect to get them out of there until November? Is that correct?
I believe as Mr. San indicated, so there's a tenant issue where Mr. Leon's trying to get him out. It's the same tenant that operates the service bays. Once the convenience store goes, that tenant is out. That's what we're trying to get done.
We're hopeful that early fall, and Mr. Leon is going to do his very best to put pressure.
That's a little bit of a concern there, because the problem is we have a convenience store, and
Yeah, I look at
looks
it
like
that
there's
it's-
maybe like 12 cars here in number 5.
Yes.
Double deep, so like, that's a problem.
I think the councilman hit it on the head. It's like you're coming to us asking for a little relief. We want to make the community better. I know this location all too well. By their own admission, you have this guy selling like 24 cars illegally. He's been in a citation. Like I said, residents deserve a little respect. So I think there has to be some good faith kind of demonstrated that there's a willingness, and waiting 10 months down the road is not the sort of willingness we're looking to embrace here in the town of Hempstead. Am I right about that, Councilman?
I agree. Overall, I mean, a lot of positives project, but it's, that's a holdup for me right now.
We understand and respect exactly what you're saying, and Mr. Leon and I will confer, and we will redouble those efforts to accomplish compliance as soon as we can.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Councilman, any other questions?
I have a question. Is it a BP gas station sold there now? Is it a
Yes,
Bush
it's
Patrol?
a BP.
It's BP. And now the sublessee, does he control the gas operation?
No, just
Okay.
body shop, the auto repair shop.
So the gas operator is going to take over the whole premises, correct?
Correct.
And is that the same owner of is it subleased to somebody as a gas operator, or is the owner of the property going to be the operation of the gas?
There is an underlying owner of the land who then leases it to Leon Petroleum, and Leon Petroleum has put in a new operator for the premises. When the new operator came in, that operator took over, unfortunately, the sublease for the body or repair shop that is there. And the new operator is an established operator at other BP stations for Leon Petroleum, and that operator will operate the convenience store and the gas station if the board deems it appropriate to.
So how many operations does the BP owner that's taking over have right now?
I believe they have two other locations.
Okay. And the convenience store is looking to be 24 hours?
It would be a 24-hour BP convenience store.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any slips other than what's spoken. Is there anybody who did not sign in who wishes to be heard on this? Okay, then I appreciate the presentation. Oh, okay.
My apologies.
Great. If you give your name and address for the record, that'd be great.
Mita J. Maraday, resident in a unfortunate district that has a still segregated map. Just wanted to ask with regard to this gas station, this location, as far as the representation for handicap parking, for veterans, for the community outreach component, what, we seem to be forming a trend in certain communities in the town where we have a proliferation of gas stations and 24-hour convenience stores. But unfortunately, it does not provide too much economic benefit for the neighboring community or literally those residents that live nearby. So we had a situation similar to that in Uniondale where the residents literally who abutted the property weren't properly notified. So what is different with this situation, and what about all the other empty gas stations that were before this body that made all these promises? Ironically, we have one in Baldwin that's been empty.
Ms. Merida, do you have a question regarding this gas station?
That is my question, if you let me finish. I don't.
No, you were talking about a lot of other gas stations. So I'm saying you had the handicap. No, it's okay. You had the handicap. It's okay. You had the handicap. You had the handicap question. What was your other one in relation to this one?
Can I finish?
Well, if you can keep it to this topic, please.
Just remember when
Yeah.
when you're talking, and I can freely interrupt you if that's going out. If that's going out, it's going to be today. It's fine.
No.
Shake your head all you want to. It's fine with me. So again, as it pertains to this application and this gas station, has the interaction with the local community changed, and what is the guarantees for those residents that this gas station is not going to shut down and become an eyesore like the one we have in Baldwin that's ironically called Veterans Gas Station? That is my question that tied to the handicap parking and the accessibility with ADA requirements, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Merida. If you want to address the handicap parking at the location.
As I mentioned, in the proposal, there will be 18 spaces provided. 11 are required. One of those spaces will be ADA compliant in accordance with the town code. We have full service 24 hours so that no one who comes, whatever their situation is, has to pump their own gas. And again, the Leon Petroleum line of gasoline service stations is well established. This station has been in existence as a station since 1947, and the whole purpose is to improve it so it can continue to be economically viable and an asset to the community.
Okay, thanks for
Thank you.
All right, any other person that didn't sign in wishes to be heard? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board reserve decision at this time.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Dunn, thanks for a reserved decision on that. I'm going to ask you to follow up with the building department on a couple of those concerns, primarily with the illegal sale of the used vehicles. Okay? Thank you all. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have a proposed local law regarding extending the temporary moratoria for an additional year in the Transit-Oriented Development District, Neighborhood Business Overlay District, and Residential Townhouse Row House Overlay District for North Lawrence and Inwood. Lawrence and Inwood.
Okay. Any member of the board have any questions?
Mr. Supervisor.
Yeah.
And members of the board, I would recommend that this board move to amend the proposed local law to also include the Inwood Urban Renewal Residency District in the one-year moratorium, as it also permits high-density zoning near the TOD and related districts of North Lawrence and Inwood. The proposed change is on the town's website for today's meeting for the public to see.
Thank you, Mr. Town Attorney. All right, any member of the board wish to be heard? I have one slip on this. Felix Procacci. Morning, Mr. Procacci. If you name and address for the record, thanks.
Felix Procacci, Franklin Square. Instead of doing this moratorium, why doesn't the town just repeal these zoning ordinances?
Okay, we appreciate that thought. Any other questions?
Okay, yes, I do. Was the work done by Cameron Engineering on these building zones flawed?
Mr. Procacci, that's sort of speculation and assumption, so can't answer that kind of question.
Has any building permits been issued that take advantage of these building zones affected by these moratoriums?
Not that I'm aware of.
In the 6 months since this moratorium, what work has the town done to bring this moratorium to a close?
I don't know if you... John, what do you think about that?
Well, we've been reviewing the consultants' reports that we received in the past, and we're formulating a plan in the future now that we've got the extra year of the moratorium to come out with a report and some ideas for the town board and the supervisor to consider with regard to making a decision.
Were any outside firms hired to do this work?
At this point, no.
Who decided that this moratorium had to go on for another year?
Well, I really think, I think you might have been here at the one meeting where we had 400 people from the area saying that they had concerns about it. So we were respectful of their concerns, and we made the decision to make the review.
But a moratorium, as I learned from the Woodmere Club moratorium, has to have a specific purpose. That it can't just go on indefinitely, because that's what the town board tried to do back then. 3 months after 3 months after 3 months, kept on extending the moratorium, and the judge, there was summary judgment that it was an illegal moratorium, if you remember that case. But that's what happened there. So we just waste a lot of money on legal fees if you don't have a specific purpose, because if I was here and the 400 people, all didn't want this zone, period. So I'm not sure how changing approval process, as the legislation says, is going to change how many people could possibly live in that zone. It just, if there's allowed, 50 housing units per acre, no matter how much you analyze that, unless you change the zone completely, that fact is not going to change. So going to the first question is, why not just repeal it, since reviewing it doesn't change it. Reviewing someone's status doesn't change their status. You have to change something. And the only way to change the status of this is to change the law. And that's why I asked that first question. What is wrong with the current approval process approved by the town board that it needs to be changed? It indicated that it was flawed and it needs a good hard look. What was wrong with it?
I don't think that anything in the approval process needs to be changed. This is a basic question about whether or not the town board and the supervisor wants high-density zoning in those areas. It's a review of those districts and the zoning that was approved.
Okay, that's not what the law said back when I read it, February 28th.
I get it. I can't speak for what my predecessor, my predecessor put it into effect. I'm a little respectful of the 400 residents that came down here. So that's what we're looking at.
You just want to change the zone, though. That's not really the approval process. Okay. I read this Kevin McAndrews statement. I don't have time to read the whole thing, but, Cameron Engineering, went on, to say how a thorough analysis they did, a year's worth of work, all these studies they did, and now we have a 1.5 year moratorium that's on the brink. I just don't understand that. Thank you.
Okay. Always nice to see you, Mr. Picacci. Next, I have Mira Meriday. Good morning. If you can name an address for the record. Thank you.
Again, my name is Mita J. Meriday, not Meriday. Again, people worked hard and struggled hard for me to have this name, and I stand on their shoulders, and I respectfully request that it is said correctly. To follow up with regard to Mr. Procacci's questions and this moratorium coming from an area that this board thought, based upon no information from residents, that it was going to put a moratorium on Baldwin, and now we have developments that are much needed in our community. The 400, there are thousands of residents in these communities. How effectively, because I know there was ineffective outreach to Baldwin, and we had to fight to get our developments in place with our tax dollars that we had to fight to get from New York State. So were these communities also awarded $10 million from the state? And how much money has already been expended from those resources, which are our tax dollars from the state, which basically said that this township has what it deemed basically messy accounting when it audited this township?
No.
So there's no state funding that was involved in this.
No.
So the engineers and all these reports that you based this moratorium on was based on what? What report? What outreach? There are thousands of residents in Inwood and thousands of residents. So, okay, respectfully, you said we want to respect the views of residents, the 400 residents, but you and the rest of your board and the town paid consultants didn't respect the views of hundreds of residents who came here pleading for you to not segregate our communities again with these maps. So you didn't respect those opinions, but now all of a sudden you're going to be respectful of residents? So yes, before you ask me again, to this area right here, what is the impact on the residents who need affordable housing to remain in those communities? The rest of the residents.
Ms. Meredith.
What's the outreach? Who's representing their districts?
Ms. Meredith, you asked if any state funding was used, and the answer was no.
And I gave you another question. What was the answer to that? Where'd the funding come from? Where did you base your reports on? The same clique that sits around in the back with your little cocktails and your appetizers? What were these decisions based upon?
Just so the record's correct, we don't drink cocktails here.
Okay. Spiked coffee. You come in here with cups. We can't bring food in here, but you all bring cups in here. Yes, thank you for showing your cup, Mr. Carini. But I can't bring a cup in here. I can't bring food in here. So where was the decision-making done, sir, if you said your usual donor-backed consultants didn't bring the information? I'm just asking. Where'd it come from?
Ms. Meredith, as your early question was, there was no state funding used.
I asked other questions, sir, if you were listening, as opposed to just trying to
Ms. Meredith, and perhaps if you'd stop interrupting me, I'll answer it.
No, you can speak when I have my time up. So now you can speak. Go ahead.
Ms. Meredith, the study was done by the town board prior to my administration, and that's where the funding came from.
But they decided to move forward with it.
Okay,
You
thank you, Ms.
decided
Meredith.
to put a moratorium on it. Again, residents are not
Thank you,
speaking,
Ms.
or
Meredith.
selective residents
I don't
get to
have
speak.
any other slips. Is there anybody else in the audience that did not sign in who should be heard on this item? If not, may I please have a motion?
I move to so amend the proposed local law.
This is to the motion to amend, and
Second it.
the second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini. Aye. Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the decision calendar.
Okay, and before I do want to note for the record and my oversight that our receiver of taxes, Janine Driscoll, has been in attendance since the inception of the meeting.
Listen, thank you very much, Receiver of Taxes.
Right. We should have another motion now. You did the motion to amend, and now we'll have a motion to adopt.
So why don't we have a motion to adopt the amended law on item number 11?
11.
Can I have a motion?
Motion to adopt.
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt as amended the item.
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Aye.
All right, Madam Clerk, now call the decision calendar.
Now on the decision calendar, we have a resolution to review the recommendation of the Town of Hempstead Landmarks Preservation Commission that the Bristol and Mexico Monument and a portion of surrounding property, also known as the Mariners Burial Ground, located within Rockville Center Cemetery at 45 Merrick Road, Limbrook, be designated a historical landmark.
May I have a motion?
I move the public hearing be closed and the board adopt the item.
Can I please have a second?
Second.
Supervisor Clavin.
I vote aye, and I want to thank the good work of the town clerk's office and our entire committee for the presentation at the last meeting. They did a tremendous job, and the residents that came and spoke about it, it was great. And Kate, to you and the team, and to our committee again, kudos and well done, and I proudly vote aye.
Thank you. All right. Councilman Carini.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Muscarella.
Yes.
Take a moment.
This was the, this was the motion.
Secure, yeah, that was the,
That was your script. It's done. It's done. Don't worry about it. Nobody knows this but you and I.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, we always get this last minute.
Where were you 5 minutes ago?
administrative calendar?
Yes, so on the administrative calendar, we have items 13 through 55. I also have 3 items that are of an emergency or urgent nature. The first emergency resolution is entitled, "A Resolution Granting the Application of the Wantagh Chamber of Commerce for a parade permit for a parade to be held in Wantagh, New York on March 19th, 2023. The second resolution authorizes the award of a bid for the roadway reconstruction of the Beltaw Avenue area in Wantagh, New York. And the third resolution authorizes the Commissioner of the Department of Water of the Town of Hempstead to sign and execute all contracts, documents, and instruments required by the New York State Department of Health Environmental Facilities Corporation in conjunction with the town's applications for grants to fund water treatment facility improvements. Those emergency items will be 56 through 58 on the calendar.
56, 57, 58. Okay. Any member of the board wish to cover any items? All right. Any member of the board wish to hear any items on the administrative calendar? Okay, I cut a couple of slips here. We'll start off with Felix Percacci. Morning again. If you just give your name and address. Thanks, Mr. Percacci.
Felix Percacci, Franklin Square. Number 48, the appointment of Laura Ryder, Councilman.
Okay.
The following statement was taken from the speech, modified accordingly, that Councilwoman Gooseby used to give each time there was an appointment to the town board. I object to the process by which this town board will be choosing a representative for the Councilmatic District 4 without any input or vote from the citizens of this district. As a result of Gooseby versus the town of Hempstead, voting rights and litigation, the town of Hempstead was divided into 6 councilmatic districts that give voters in their communities more direct responsibility in their local town government. We are now in the 23rd year of the representation of councilmatic districts, and this is not the first time that a vacancy has arisen in councilmatic district. Consider what we are doing here. There is a vacancy in a position in councilmatic district 4, not counting Supervisor Clavin. None of the council members who are voting on this appointment represent any of the citizens of Councilmatic District 4. In other words, the council members from every part of the town of Hempstead are choosing the council members who will represent the citizens of Councilmatic District 4. This is a very undemocratic process, and that is undemocratic with a small d, for the citizens of Councilmatic District 4. I suggest the representatives of the town board move we table the pending resolution and pass a resolution changing the method on which the town board fills a vacancy in councilmatic districts from appointments by the town board to a special election. Some may complain that a special election costs money and appointment by the town board is less expensive. To that I respond, are we going to put a price tag on the rights of our citizens to choose our representatives? Are we going to put a price tag on democracy for political expediency? Another important consideration, should an immediate term vacancy occur in a minority-majority district, the representative of this district would be appointed by the town board. This certainly would be contrary to the intent of the Gooseby versus Town of Hempstead court case and is likely in violation of the Voting Rights Act in which this law was based. I guess we don't have to worry about that because we still only have one minority-majority district. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Percacci. Next, I'm going to call up James Jacob. Good morning, Mr. Jacob. If you just give your name and address for the record, thank you.
Good morning, Supervisor Claves, and it's James B. Jacobs, sir.
Okay, James B. Jacob.
And also the councilman persons, good morning. I just want clarification on item number 15 about the authorization increase of 2023 water operation fund, because I know there was an issue about water quality in Uniondale, Garden City, Levittown, and the rest of the other things. So I was wondering, is that pertaining to better quality for the town of Hempstead, for the residents that live here? Or is that just something to keep the place going? Because I know the new appointment today is coming from the Southern Water District, and hopefully they'll be able to address the issue of make sure we get proper water care for our hamlets in town. Maybe the town attorney, Mr. John, can answer that, or somebody, please.
Yeah. Mr. Reiner, if you identify yourself.
Good morning, Supervisor, members of the town board. John Reinhardt, Commissioner of the Town of Hempstead Department of Water. This resolution establishes a fund for us to start a conservation program to partner with our residents in order to get smart timers on irrigation systems. It's going to help conserve a lot of water. It's going to help defer some of the costs and some of the improvements that we make in water quality.
Okay, when you say smart meters, that's for the house of residents, or that's for the town itself for us using it on their facilities? Because my understanding now that there is issue about water quality for our docks and other contaminants, and I also make sure that the hamlets and people living in the town of Hempstead get the proper water care that they need.
This town board and the Department of Water has committed $150 million in the past 2 years to addressing the 1-4 dock sign issues. We're constructing treatment at all of our wells where we do have presence of that compound. This has nothing to do with that particular work. This is strictly conservation to reduce the amount of usage for irrigation purposes of our residents.
Oh, point of clarification, when you spoke about the meters, that's for residents or that's for the people in the, like, office buildings and things of that nature?
These would be for residents.
Oh, it would be at the resident cost of the cost of the town to have that done?
I didn't follow the question, I'm sorry.
Okay, you want the residents to use these smart meters, right? Do the residents have to pay for this improvement, or will it be from the town taking in the cost of these meters?
These aren't meters, these are controllers for irrigation systems to control your sprinkler system at your house.
Oh, okay, I understand now. So if you have an in-ground sprinkler system, they want to put a meter on it then, right?
No, this is the timers that control them. These are smart timers that are connected to the National Weather Service, so you don't have people watering their lawns when it's raining out. When we've had rain for 2 weeks beforehand, it greatly reduces. A couple other water providers have started this program, and it reduces water usage by up to 30% in the summer.
Okay, now I just want to make sure, because there are people who already have this system, they have their own timers and things of that nature, and I just want a point of clarification. And thank you for that. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mr. Jacob. Next, I have Pearl Jacobs. Good morning. If you can give me name and address for the record, thanks.
Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale. So I'm just going to follow up a little bit regarding the water. So the water district that serves Uniondale, Roosevelt Field, Bowling Green Estates, East Meadow, and most of Levittown, the water tests high levels of 1.5 dioxin, well above the EPA cancer risk guidelines. And I just want to let you know about our water here in Uniondale. Residents in Uniondale frequently complain about their water quality due to variations regarding color and taste. And we do not need another Flint, Michigan story here in Nassau County, a story that cried out of environmental injustice, a story that was broadcast throughout our country and around the world. So my question is, what criteria does the town of Hempstead use to determine the order in which communities' water quality issues are addressed? Given this, these facts that I just stated to you, why, I see other hamlets, other communities, they have new water towers, their water issues are addressed, but Uniondale, we still languish.
No, wait, hold on. Wait, do you have a question regarding this resolution?
My question is, what criteria do you use?
No, but right now we're dealing with this resolution. If you want to meet up with the water commissioner after and talk about.
Answer my question here.
No, because we're dealing with the resolution.
The gentleman's right there.
Ms. Jacobs, you've been to the meetings a million times. You know we're dealing with.
Listen, you answer everybody else's question. Any other communities,
No,
right?
actually, I just said to you the commissioner could talk to you after about it.
I don't want to speak to. I'm asking him to answer my
No,
question.
but we're talking about the resolutions right now, Ms. Jacob. No, Mr. Reinhardt, Commissioner, he'll be happy to meet with you at.
Put on public record that you refuse to answer my question. You
No.
go in the back and speak to people
No.
who do not want the answer on.
No, that's not true at all, but that's okay.
Are you going to answer my question?
No, he's going to ask you if it's regarding the resolutions as he did Mr. Jacobs.
My question is, what criteria do you use?
I know, but that's, if you want to stick around after, I'm
I
happy.
want a public answer, so it could be on public record. So I'm
okay.
saying that you refuse to answer my question on public record because you want me to go in the back, so this will not be on public record.
Ms. Jacob, you know, we're dealing with the resolution
Any other
here.
community that comes up here, you answer their questions. I can give you, I can show you the film.
Okay. Do you have a question on this resolution or anything else in the administrative calendar?
What criteria do you use to address communities' water? What criteria do you use?
Ms. Jacobs, we're dealing with the administrative calendar right now. Please, and on the record, I know you're trying to make a point, but we've said we'd make the commissioner available to.
And probably because it's a majority-minority community, you refuse to answer my question on public record. Let that be stated. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Jacob. Mina Meriday? How you doing? If you could name and address for the record, thank you.
Do you really want to know how I'm doing? I feel like I have all black for a reason, since you asked me how I'm doing. As it pertains to the administrative calendar, first and foremost, I want it on the record, it's not listed here yet, but I am opposed to anything like a casino in the Uniondale Hub, which was the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Put that on the record. I concur with Felix Procacci with regard to item 48. No offense to Ms. Ryder. I see her record. We kind of knew about her for the last couple of months, but we figured everybody was waiting for the furor to die down with the last two scenarios that have put this township and county on record, which is George Santos and segregated maps. But again, our voices are not being heard. You represent the more financially endowed half of my community, since Baldwin is split in half with the lack of representation or voice from the other half of the lack of representation for Baldwin, which is the missing link. We continue to have lack of diversity on this board, no offense. I'm glad we're kind of breaking up the testosterone, but we continue to lack the diversity as far as the ethnicity that is emerging in this region. We have yet to have, and it's sad that the Oscars have stepped up ahead of the town of Hempstead in finally recognizing the important contributions of the Asian community, because we have yet to have Asian representation here, and at the rate we're going, that's not going to happen. And, you know, unfortunately, the one minority who's given 3 titles, so I guess that is supposed to appease the census generated 3 minority majority districts that we should have in this township. Since she's listed as the deputy supervisor, but by state law, she's not allowed to vote. So anytime we might have to lawsuit somebody, they can always list that, since it's named, her name is listed as deputy supervisor, and the deputy supervisor is an honorary title. So I object to 48. The other issues that I have with these community development issues, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39. What communities are being developed with this funding and with these actions in those numbers? My clock is at 28 seconds, and I will count as it keeps ticking down until I get somebody to answer the question as it pertains to the resolution. Can someone step up and answer that question for me? And as I said, my clock was at 28 seconds. And
Commissioner, perhaps you could address Ms. Meriday's comments on those items?
Good morning, Supervisor, members of Town Board.
You got to identify yourself.
John Rockham, Commissioner of Planning and Economic Development.
Thanks, John.
These resolutions are for town-wide areas that is paid through HUD money. So it's not town money. We follow the town rules, the state rules, and HUD as well. And any area within the town that falls into the HUD area, this is the engineers and architects that we use to design streetscapes, facade programs, things like that.
Okay, so how much diversity is involved in it? What jobs are being created? What small minority, veteran, disabled businesses are being created? And how are we improving the aesthetic of those communities? Because Baldwin looks the same. Can you answer that?
Absolutely. So as far as the companies that are on Town Board today, Impact Architecture is woman-based owned. Elizabeth Biblia, landscape architect, is women-based owned. And B. Thayer, associates engineer, is woman-based owned. As far as specifically to Baldwin, what we're currently doing now is, with the DRI money, we hired our experts to do the environmental impacts, which are done. We have all the people that have decided to come into the program, which right now is currently 11. We're having those buildings, the renderings done of those 11 buildings. They should be done probably next month. And then once those are done, we're going to meet with the owners and the tenants of the buildings. We'll have a community meeting to go over them. And then in the spring, we'll start construction on those buildings.
Okay. You said women-based owned. I didn't hear minority. I didn't hear veteran. On 43 and 44.
Thank you, Ms.
I
Maraday.
still had time
Thank
left.
you, Ms.
43
Maraday,
and
if you'd like to
44 are
follow up
donor
after the
connected.
meeting, thank
What
you,
is the
as
diversity
always.
of that?
Next, I'm going to, if you'd like to follow up with the commissioner, he'll be delighted to go over any other projects.
How donor connected 43 and 44
Thank you so much, Ms. Maraday.
Are you going to look me in
Next,
the eye?
I don't have any other slips. Anybody else that did not sign in wishes to be heard in the administrative calendar? Great. If you just go to the back and give your name and address. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Name and address. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Chris Jacobs from Uniondale. I just want to reference items 33 through 44. Is Uniondale included in any of the CDP development projects?
Commissioner, if you can come back up and identify that, that'd be great. Just re-identify yourself. Thanks.
John Rockham, Commissioner of Planning and Economic Development. In reference to Uniondale, yes, currently we're waiting to start the intersection of Front Street and Uniondale Avenue streetscape. The electrician on the job, which is Elder Electric, is waiting for the light poles to come in. They've been back ordered for a long period of time. I spoke with them this morning. He said they should be in within 8 weeks, which will be the beginning of the middle of May, and then we'll start construction there. As far as the rest of Uniondale Avenue, we received a grant from Kathleen Rice for $2 million. The federal government said they're sending us the grant application, the certified contract now. We still have not received it. However, what we have done is the town, using CDBG money, has hired the engineer. The survey is already completed, and they're almost done drawing up the contracts so that we can put them out to bid, even though we did not receive the contract for the money. So we are moving on that, and that one will probably start next year, next spring.
Next spring. Okay. That pretty much answers my question. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Jacobs. All right, I don't have any other slips. I don't have anybody else who did not sign in wishes to be heard. If you just go to the back and identify yourself, that'd be great. Thanks. Nope, over here on the side. There you go. Morning. Just give me a name and address for the record. Thanks.
Yes, it's Emerency Funderburk, 139 East Clinton Avenue, Roosevelt, New York. And I guess I'm piggybacking on the others. I want to know, is any of this community development available or slated for Roosevelt?
We're going to have the commissioner come back up here. It's a good workout for you, John.
Getting all the steps in.
That's right. If you could just, John, identify yourself one more time there.
Good morning, John Rockham, Commissioner of Economic Development.
Good job.
So, yes, in Roosevelt right now, if you notice on Nassau Road, we're building a Dunkin' Donuts there. It's under construction. And we also have money in Roosevelt for a streetscape project as well as a facade project that's going to be happening.
At the end of the meeting, can I speak with you as well on some of those projects?
Absolutely.
I want to say thank you because I was going to come up and ask today, what were you building on Nassau Road? So you've answered that question.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. And like I said, John will follow up in the back. Thank you very much. Anybody else that did not sign in wishes to be heard? If not, may I please have a motion on administrative calendar with the amendments?
I make the motion that we accept the administrative calendar in its entirety through item 58.
Okay. Can I get a, nope.
I'd like to separate item 48 first and do that, or you want to do that after?
No. We're going to move it the entirety.
Okay, good.
Yep. You got, so it's a move in the entirety?
Entirety.
And second?
Second the motion.
Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Creedy.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Mascarella.
Aye.
All right. With that, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Make the motion to adjourn. Second.
Supervisor.
I second.
Okay. Supervisor Clavin.
Aye.
Councilman Creedy.
Aye.
Councilman Dunn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Miller.
Aye.
Councilman Mascarella.
As is customary, we will remain to listen to the comments of residents, but before we do so, I would like to welcome and congratulate and have for purposes of swearing in our newest councilwoman, Councilwoman Ryder. just want to get in the way back.
Yeah, no, I know. I just wanted to make sure. I went over there. You told me about it. What?
Chris, to the back. And as I said, now that the formal portion of the meeting's over, we're going to go through the public comment where we're here to listen to the residents. We'll start off with Felix Procacci.
Felix Procacci, Franklin Square. Recently, former Councilman D'Esposito proposed a new law referred to as No Fame for Fraud Resolution. This targets current and former congressional House members found guilty of a violation of the Federal Election Act of 1971 and United States Code subparagraph B of Section 833202 of Title V. Although the idea behind this proposed law is good, the reality is it will have little or no effect on the workings of government. A federal conviction often takes years, and it's virtually impossible to keep politics out of such investigations or the trial. A good example of this was the crimes committed by Councilman Ambrosino, where nobody on this town board publicly called for harsher penalties against fraud committed by this elected official. If this town board is committed to advancing good, accountable government, as D'Esposito states in his press release, there is something this board can do right now by modifying its ethics law. First, the town's ethics law does not specify a time limit in which the ethics board needs to acknowledge receipt of the ethics complaint. The ethics law should do this. Also, there is no time limit as to when the ethics board is required to complete its investigation. To allow for both flexibility and accountability, the ethics board response should be due within 60 days. If the ethics board requires more time than that, they shall inform the claimant of the reason for more time is required and the estimated time required. This process can be repeated indefinitely until the ethics board completes its work. Also, a provision should be added that makes willful violation of federal, state, or town law by a town employee in the performance of his job an ethics violation. The ethics board shall also be required to show its work. If all or part of the evidence gathered is privileged in nature, the ethics board shall describe in general terms each piece of evidence and the reason for deeming it privileged. The failure of any ethics board member to comply with this ethics law shall be punishable with a financial penalty as well as removal from the ethics board. if the Ethics Board is a member, is also an employee, they shall also lose their position. And just to speak to what I spoke to before about moratorium, it says in the law, since the enactment of the resolution, concerns have been raised about the approval procedures for projects, and there needs to be it does not represent best practices and needs to have a hard look.
Mr. Vicacci, thank you very much, and I do want to let you know that Congressman D'Esposito is here today, and I'm sure appreciates your support of his good initiatives. Nice to see you, and thank you very much for your nice compliment. Congressman, put that on your fridge. Next I have Pearl Jacobs. Morning, Ms. Jacobs. If you can name and address, thanks.
Good morning, Pearl Jacobs, Uniondale. I'm here to, also I'm going to always state that discriminatory map was approved and voted on unanimously with the vote of our Dorothy Gooseby, which is a shame. Okay, so I'm pivoting to casinos because that's going to be the next hot issue. And the major concern here is the adverse effects that a casino within close proximity of over 40,000 students would have on our youth here in Nassau County in the greater Long Island area. Our youth are struggling with opioid addiction, post-COVID depression, alcohol and marijuana abuse, among other addictions. Putting casino within walking distance of Hofstra University, NCC, Kellenberg High School, Uniondale Charter School, and Museum Row is unconscionable. These educational institutions are a 5-minute walk from Mitchell Field. A casino at this site would send a strong message that Nassau County could care less about youth and addictions. We'll just allocate more funding from our casino revenues for addiction treatment. And we must not forget Memorial Sloan Kettering, a renowned cancer center located at Mitchell Field. People go to Memorial Sloan Kettering for cancer treatment, and they do not need the stress that a casino atmosphere creates. People that are fighting for their lives deserve a peaceful and safe environment. I spoke about the environmental impact of our water and on Uniondale. We also have a pollution issue in Uniondale, and Newcastle, Roosevelt, Uniondale, Westbury has been identified as communities of concern by the Department of Environmental Conservation for poor air quality. Mobile air monitoring began in September of last year. Also, I wanted to speak quickly about crime. Casinos are typically open 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. This affords the opportunity for certain crimes, drugs, prostitution, theft, extortion, stolen cars, gun violence, human trafficking, and many others. Despite the fact that our Nassau County Police, under the superb leadership of Commissioner Ryder, they provide excellent service and protection to our residents. But why would you want to put extra crime and extra stress on our Nassau County Police Department, who are currently overburdened with a plethora of post-COVID criminal activity? So I just want to put that on statement. You will be hearing me a lot about no casino in Uniondale and no casino in Nassau County, and I just want to state that, my opposition. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Jacobs. Next, I have Chris Jacobs. How you doing? If you give your name and address for the record, thanks.
Chris Jacobs, Uniondale, New York. I would like an update on the 576 proposal for the 576 for Uniondale Avenue for the gas station there. Any update on that? Because I know there was a concern about the residents wanted to meet with the residents because they talked about training people walking around and the impact on it.
Maybe you want to talk to our building commissioner after the meeting. There he is in the back corner. There's a deputy right there, Danny Leo. Mr. Jacobs.
Okay, so I just want to reference something when it concerns 576 Uniondale. In 2019 to 2020, there was an abandoned gas station at 681 Newbridge Road in East Meadow. It was a derelict gas station, just like the one, Old Great Bear in Uniondale. Within 18 months, that one was leveled, the old tanks dug up and erected with a brand new double canopy BP in less than 18 months. So I don't understand. The question I have is, what criteria did 671 Newbridge Road meet for the construction of it that 576 does not meet?
I couldn't answer your question, so I said you could follow up with the Deputy Building Commissioner's right back there. He'll meet you after the meeting.
Okay, so I will meet him at the meeting, and hopefully he can tell me what criteria meant, because I hope it's not anything issuing based on location. So I will meet up with him, and hopefully give me the answer I would like to hear. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Jacobs. Next, I have John Defense. Good morning, Mr. Defense. If you give me name and address for the record.
John Defense from Baldwin, New York. I've been trying for over a year to speak with Commissioner Murphy. I've been calling your office, I called Senior Enrichment Program, I called you, I spoke to you personally, and I'm still waiting. And my issues are getting more heavier than when it started. So again, I'm here only to ask you, once again, Mr. Craven, to set up a meeting for me with Commissioner Murphy. That's all I want.
Okay. Mr. Defense, why don't you stick around? I'll either try and set up with the commissioner, one of the deputy commissioners. Anybody here from Senior Enrichment? I know they have the celebration right now. If you stick around, one of my assistants will get your name and number.
That's what I've been getting, name and number, give, and nobody calls me back.
Okay.
Over a year.
Okay.
But listen, sir, if they do set up a meeting, not today, I hope.
I don't think it's going to be today, no.
Okay.
Okay. Next, I have Mita Meriday. Good morning. Name and address for the record. Thanks.
Mita J. Meriday. To echo the famous civil rights legend and icon, and someone that I wish I had the opportunity to have met as I'm standing here in the back, which again is a problem. I don't know, kind of broke protocol with COVID so long ago. I don't know why we're still standing in the back. But as Fannie Lou Hamer would say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. The lack of diversity and inclusion, and the fact that we continue to have settlements that you quietly stick into this agenda that no one questions, more importantly, Newsday. And I see that the congressman is leaving. And speaking of, okay, just saying, we never know. My time might be up when you get back, because your office is also one that doesn't return any outreach from its constituents. But, you know, since the district he vacated was literally left empty, and Baldwin feels like it has no representation since it was cut in two. The town of Hempstead is comprised of a population that's 52% white as of the 2021 census data. That leaves 48%, of which an estimated 21% are Hispanic, 17% are black, and it leaves about 11% Asian, South Asian, indigenous, things of that nature. I look before me, and the empty seat basically represents what we feel in the now resegregated first district. We don't have representation here. We don't have diversity here. We don't have inclusion here. And you can brag about, which is, hey, this is great. This is the month of the woman. It's nice to hear that women-owned businesses are getting contracts. That doesn't make me happy. Veterans are killing themselves now at a rate of 44 a day. That has become my focus. Our veterans are dying. I looked at your mental health website. The information is outdated. The majority of those alleged resources don't even belong in the town of Hempstead. They're not based here. So when you talk about community development, economic development, and empowerment, if we're not raising up those that you run around with your lapel pin on, you wave in the parade, you pass by on the street, that's a problem in 2023. We need to resolve that. Ms. Ryder, you represent the more affluent, I would say. The majority of the $10 million the residents fought for in Baldwin are south of Sunrise Highway, which is the new, as we call it, Mason-Dixon line. We're in the dark north part of Baldwin. We can't get streetlights. I look forward to meeting you. I want to give you a chance, since so many of our officials were appointed and not elected.
Thanks, Ms.
Let's
Meredith.
make a difference.
Always good.
We pay too much
Next,
in
I have
settlements
Ms.
as it is.
Funderburk. We have Wilhelmina? And Ms. Funderburk, if you could name and address for the record, thank you.
Wilhelmina Funderburk, 156 East Clinton Avenue, Roosevelt, New York. Supervisor, I'm here today because when I came before Christmas, you assigned a gentleman that was supposed to attend to the problems situations that I had given 36 East Clinton Avenue in Roosevelt, where there's a car repair shop in the driveway, 160 East Clinton Avenue, where there are over 6 or 7 families in one house. And you assigned a gentleman, I can't remember his name now, but I called him several times. I haven't received a call from him. I haven't received a letter from him, and this has been about 4 to 6 months ago.
Okay.
So I'm saying to you, and we still have the problem of the 18-wheelers still on Nassau Road. And I said when I was here, why is it that Roosevelt have to contend with these 18-wheelers when our neighbors do not have this problem? And we've been having this problem for years, and nobody seemed to be able to correct it. So that's what I'm here for again today, to find out what's happening on our Nassau Road. You tell us a Dunkin' Donut is coming there. We never heard that before. We didn't get a notice. There wasn't a meeting asking us if we wanted a Dunkin' Donuts. Hey, I'm happy it's there, but we need a lot more businesses in Roosevelt, you know? And it seems like, you know, our representative forget that we are there. We need to have somebody. When you assign somebody that's supposed to take care of these problems, they should at least have the decency after 4 months to have called or returned the call that I've made to them. You know, we pay taxes in Roosevelt, whether people want to believe it or not. And we pay a lot of taxes. And we do come out and vote. And we should be represented. And if you can't do it, then we need to find somebody who can. I would volunteer for the job if you give it to me, because I go from door to door to bring these problems to you. But in the meantime, we need somebody that you assign to heed to your assignment. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Vanderberg. Maybe Danny Leo, maybe that's my building commissioner deputy. If you could stand up there, identify yourself, and you can meet up and follow up on the address. Thanks, Danny. Right.
Who are you assigning?
Danny Leo, stand up. He's the deputy building commissioner.
Right in the back.
Right there. He's coming right over to you right now.
He's walking towards you.
Ms. Vanderberg? How you doing again? If you give me name and address, thanks.
It's Emergency Funderburk, 139 East Clinton Avenue, Roosevelt, New York. Basically, my mother kind of threw out the complaint that I have, so I'm going to divert a little bit. And I want to just say, my son's graduating from UMass in May, and I want to thank publicly Miss Kate Murray. She had a big hand in it, and I want to thank her. Second of all, we had our first... we had our first Level Up Youth Summit, and it was held at the David S. Mack Center. And I want, again, I'm doing a thank you, a little shout out to our commissioner, Ryder. He actually spoke with the kids. We had 80 young people from all the communities here in Roosevelt. I mean, it was Roosevelt, Hempstead, Uniondale were represented, and he took out time to speak with them, and I have gotten so many great replies from their parents and students for the Youth Summit, so I want to take that opportunity just to say thank you. If I can complain, I want to be able to say thank you as well. And so back to my complaint. Nassau Road is definitely, it's just in disarray right now. And so it was wonderful to hear that we were having a Dunkin' Donut built there, but of course, as a community, we did not even know that it was coming into our community. As for many businesses that house themselves there, we never know that they are going to come until all of a sudden we see this construction. We do have our Nassau Road looks crazy. I'm going to just simply say it that way. Businesses are not there. It's in disarray. And it just seems that I'm listening to some of the projects that are going to come on board. I'm hopeful that, you know, Roosevelt will be slated for some improvements for what we consider our downtown, our main road. At this point, it's not. We have a truck company there that is blocking the road. It really is hazardous to the moving traffic there. It's right adjacent to Dunkin' Donuts. So I'm wondering how that's going to work going forward. And there are some additional open properties there. How can we, as community members, I'm also a business owner there, and we can never obtain the empty lots that are there. How can we begin to obtain the empty lots and provide the kind of businesses that we see fit there on Nassau Road? And lastly, the drug primary, I just think the drug issue there on Nassau Road has prevailed even more so now with the legalization of marijuana. We have 2 places of business there, which is less than, I want to say, a quarter of a mile from our elementary schools. And it just seems that that needs to be addressed as well.
I'm going to start is Commissioner Rodkamp is going to grab it right now to talk to you about the other thing. In relation to the marijuana sales, if you can give the addresses to the building commissioner, actually deputy commissioner, Danny, go back to the other one. You know, we are monitoring and we're closing up shops that we can. Because we knew this is going to, when they passed this up in Albany, we knew this is going to be problematic to sell marijuana. So he'll be happy. If someone's closing it, we work with our friends. Then lastly, in relation to the trucks on the trucks on Nassau Road, it's great. We have Commissioner Ryder here right now. So after this meeting, I'm going to personally grab him and talk to him personally about trying to get some Nassau County enforcement down to get some tickets. Not to put you on the spot, Patty, but I'm going to, all right? Fair enough?
Well, it's fair enough. I speak with him on a monthly basis at our community.
Oh, come on, make it weekly. No, listen to me, don't worry about it.
I think he knows where I stand with that.
Thank you very much. And he'll talk to you right now. Marcia Dutieri? No, it's nice. Thank you very much. Ms. Dutieri, thank you very much. If you give your name and address for the record. We don't shout out at meetings. It's not nice. That's okay. Thank you. Ms. Dutieri, how are you? Give your name and address, please.
Marcia Dutieri, Merrick, New York. I didn't speak about anything on the administrative calendar, but you spoke about streetscaping, water filtration systems, and over again, since your election, I've been talking about tree preservation. It was put off at the last meeting, which was a promise that something would be put into place in February because someone was out on leave. I don't know how one person could control that. I haven't gotten any updates from Commissioner Jowitz or Legal Counsel Moriartis. Nothing.
No, you know, we've gone through the board about the legislation. 1 or 2 of the members have expressed concerns about, you know, the taking and limiting people's rights on their property, and I'm respectful of that. So until I come to a consensus on it, I'm going to be respectful of everyone's opinion on the board. Just because somebody wants the tree removed in the backyard, I don't want you thinking it hasn't been done, but we've talked amongst ourselves, and a couple of rightfully have expressed concerns about, you know, the burden we're placing on some. While we're all friends of the environment, there is a concern that some of the legislation might be impeding on people's rights to do certain things in their property. And until we come to a consensus, you know, we have to work it out.
Every other township has put laws into place. We are the only township, I think, have the most lax laws. Developers, builders have taken over everything. And these aren't just people moving in and beautifying their property. These are developers doing it for the money. They cut down every single tree. They build a home bigger than any other home in the area, and then they move on to the next property after they make their $1 million. So it's really not property owners' rights. It's developers destroying to make the buck and going on to the next property.
Mrs. Dutieri, I'm going to be on record to say that I'm one of these council people that don't believe we should dictate what people do with their personal property. I'm all for trying to get grant money to plant trees in our parks and our greenways, but I'm not going to sit here and tell my residents if they want to remove a tree in their backyard to add a pool that we should stop them.
If there's a reason, I understand it, but if you have a healthy, mature tree that gives oxygen to 5 people every single day, and it's healthy, and it does concern everyone because this is our health.
Mrs. DiTieri, again, I do support trying to get grant money, trying to plant trees in our open spaces, our parks, but if a homeowner wants to remove a tree from their backyard and their property to put a swing set or to put a pool or a patio for their family, I'm not going to impede that.
How about for no reason? A healthy tree?
That's my answer, Mrs. DiTieri. You might not agree with it, but that's where I stand.
Ms. DiTieri, that's what I said, the board and I have talked about this, and they rightfully raised their concerns on it, and that's why we've tried to find other means to alleviate that, on tree planting, on finding the ability that actually down in, what was it, and Kate was down there with me planting trees, like we planted like 200 trees down in Baldwin. We made the conscious decision of when we did ceremonies to have replantable trees. So I'm sort of, I'm very respectful of your passion of the trees, and we're trying to find alternatives to find ways to replenish them. And I think we've been somewhat successful at it throughout the town. But like I said, we're still trying to find alternatives, but it is about reaching a consensus of saying to people what they can and what they can't do on their property.
And what about an option?
Also, I'd just like to give you some good news. If you look on the calendar on number 31, we are training town employees to properly use bucket trucks so that we can do proper tree cutting. I know we have a little northeaster, and that is a concern of the town of Hempstead to make sure that people are safe. And that's the way to make sure our employees and the people of town of Hempstead are safe. So we do make a proactive method to make sure that we do proper tree cutting in the town.
Are you putting tree trimming into the calendar?
If they're not, that's what the training's about. That's what the bucket training has to do with tree cutting and things like that in the town of Hempstead.
Yeah, I don't listen. Tree trimming and pruning is vital, especially if you have an overgrown one that's burdening a lesser grown tree. We are trying to find alternatives. I understand what your passion on it and what some people are doing, but we are trying to find to alleviate when they come down that we can plant others.
It takes hundreds and hundreds of years for these trees to become mature and make a difference in the environment. You have to invest millions of dollars in water cleaning, but trees naturally clean our water and protect us and give us air.
Truth be told, and I mean, I love tree-lined streets. Trees also cause a lot of issues. Case in fact, they actually break into the sewer lines. They crush the sewer lines. So, there's a proper place. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of trying to find those alternatives, but also being respectful of a resident's property rights and the concerns of my board members.
It's unfortunate we have the highest heat indexes in the whole state, and that's because of our lack of tree preservation laws, whether you think so or not.
No, listen. I love the environment. I'm big for it. I mean, I saw Greta Thunberg had to delete her tweet that said we're all going to be dead this year. So I mean, we try and I think we do a successful job, particularly with our parks and conservation and waterways, with a lot of environmentally friendly programs. Frankly, I think we probably do more than anybody else in Long Island when it comes to this, to a lot of these programs down there, to let it be, our South Shore Waters, speaking with our congressman, he's trying to get funding to do greater programs of conservation and waterways to alleviate, a lot of the sulfur down in those waterways. We're doing a lot here, and we have a lot to be proud of. And frankly, I think a lot of other municipalities look at us and mimic us after the fact.
Man-made solutions to something nature could do on its own. I mean,
yeah, I got you.
It's unfortunate.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Thierry. I don't have any other slips. Anybody who wishes to be heard that did not sign in has not spoken? Sure, if you come on to the back and give your name and address, that'd be great. How you doing? Name and address, please.
James B. Jacobs, 568 Ash Court, Uniondale. I may have missed it, but on number 9, I know you've already voted on, but I just want a point of clarification. What was permitted in relation to the deputy department heads? Was it a change in the procedure or something of that nature? I figured town attorney can kind of explain to me what they was changed to what we became now.
Mr. Supervisor, the state law came down and said that with regard to our commissioners, we could not have numbers. deputy commissioner first, second, or third. So we just changed the law to comply with the state law, Civil Service Commission.
So basically, you change the word, and in other words, you can have many heads. It just don't have to use the word numeral 1, number 2, number 3, and so forth.
Correct. That's the state amendment.
Okay, and the other this point of clarification is not on here, but just something I was at another meeting. I know down the pike there's going to be towns that have something in relation to my wife spoke about no casino. I'm just hoping that there'll be a public input for us that decision, whatever the town decides to do collective as a body in relationship to that, because lately information has been withheld from hamlets of different locations, and I want to make sure that the town has on record that whatever they decide to do, that we have a chance to have public input, because just like with the maps, and I hope Mr. Masserell would hopefully advocate Union on the north side of Hempstead Turnpike, that everybody could be on the same page about different issues. And I must commend Commissioner Randall for making Nassau County safe. Hopefully, Anthony Z will save my Social Security and Medicare, but that's another story. But just want to say that for the record. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Jacobs. Anybody else want to be heard that didn't speak? If not, I'd say have a great day and happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Take care.